You're listening to Soap Dirt, the latest in television entertainment news.
Hey there, Days of Our Lives fans. This is Belinda from Soap Dirt, and I have got a huge spoilers update for you. Sloan is going to help Xander sue Sarah for custody, and Eric is going to be furious. So Sloan Petersen and her boyfriend Rex Brady, of course, have very different backgrounds, agendas, and how they carry themselves through life. And Sloan is often worried about what Eric thinks of her, and she's worried about losing him. But she's also about to take on a new client that is going to infuriate her live-in boyfriend, and that client is Xander Cook. We're going to dig in and give you all of the spoilers related to this. But if you haven't already, reach down, click subscribe so you don't miss any of our updates. By the way, these spoilers I'm about to give you are confirmed, and I can't be more thrilled to share them with you. There is huge stuff on the way for Xander and Sarah, but first, it looks like a custody battle is brewing. Xander is absolutely furious that Sarah lied and married Rex, and they were going to hide his daughter Victoria away from him. And this week, Rex stirs the pot even harder when he drops by Xander's place to taunt him and say that he will never be Victoria's daddy. Those are fighting words. But the thing is, it's not up to Rex, and he's about to get a reality check handed to him by his new bride, Sarah Horton. The chatter is, and this little piece right here is not a confirmed spoiler, not yet. Sarah is probably going to annul her marriage to Rex. That's the chatter I'm hearing, or just simply not file the paperwork, because let's face it, they got married in a bar with no prep work. I didn't see a marriage license. Did you guys see a marriage license? Not that that always matters on soaps, but I didn't see one. And it looks like Kyle Lowder is not going to be sticking around too long. Back in July, he started a gig as a morning news anchor in Reno, Nevada. So with days shooting about 6 months out, he might have been able to film a little longer, a little deeper into the fall, but I just don't feel like they're going to keep him around very much longer at all. And he's not really needed because the storyline is about Xander and about Sarah Horton, their dynamic, their kid, and lots of heartbreak. This week, Xander tries to talk his fiancée Chloe into still marrying him, but it looks like she is not going to do that. She's going to pack her bags and head out of town next week with Philip Kyriakis. And it's not just about what her and Xander are dealing with. It's also about Chloe still having unresolved feelings for Philip. Plus, Nadia Borlin was part of the mass firings and cutbacks that hit 7 actresses. So yes, Nadia is leaving, and Jean-Paul Lavoisier is going at the same time. That's going to happen next week. That leaves Xander in town with Sarah, and she thinks he is awful. And he thinks she's awful because she lied about their kid, and now he wants custody of his daughter. So Xander's going to go to the cagiest lawyer in Salem. That is Sloan Petersen for an assist. And Rex Brady is going to hate this. An official spoiler for Friday, October 13th has Eric very upset to find out that Sloan decided to represent Xander in his custody case against Sarah. And by the way, it's not just a matter of visitation, because Sloan and Xander talk and they're trying to figure out how he can get full custody. Sarah is a reputable physician, but let's not forget she kidnapped Kristen DeMera's baby after the whole baby swap debacle happened. So she has got a little ding in her halo that Sloan might be able to leverage. Of interest is that the same day that Xander meets with Sloan to discuss targeting Sarah and grabbing his baby in court, that's the same day that Sarah starts to have a better attitude towards Xander, a softer attitude. So what prompts this subtle change of heart on Days of Our Lives? Well, Sarah's going to find out that Susan Banks is not dead. And that's going to have Sarah feeling a bit better, even though Xander did still kidnap the woman. But what also helps is Susan is not going to press charges on Ava Vitale, who was the mastermind of the whole plot. So Dandy Zandy should be in the clear too. So that's one less hurdle between him and Sarah and their baby. That's good because otherwise he might need Sloan to rep him in the custody case and a criminal case as well. And of course, Rex Brady despises Xander. Remember, Sarah was pregnant with Eric's baby, and Xander was pretending to be the baby daddy, basically just like Rex did to him. Kind of karmic, right? And then, of course, baby Mickey sadly died as a result of the car accident, and Xander swapped the dead baby with infant Rachel Black. All that coming out wrecked his relationship with Sarah, and then they had to rebuild. Then they did. But then that Susan kidnapping wrecked them all over again. So to say that Eric has zero sympathy for Xander would be an understatement. He hates that Xander pretended to be Mickey's dad when Sarah was pregnant. He also hates that Xander banged Nicole. There's almost too many things about Xander that Eric hates to even count. So I'm not going to give you a list, but you guys know what I'm talking about. So finding out that hunky and single dastardly Xander Cook hired Sloan Petersen to help him take custody of the baby from Sarah is going to rub Eric all sorts of the wrong way. However, I don't doubt that Sloan will let Eric talk her out of it. You know, she's not going to let him tell her who she can take on as a client. That's her business. It's not Eric's business, even if he doesn't like it. So I'm sure that Eric is going to unpack for her all the stuff that Xander did. But let's face it, Sloan routinely reps criminals. Her brother is a criminal. She's engaged in criminal activities herself. So Xander's no different. But this could cause a huge problem for Sloan's relationship with Eric. All that said, I still bet that Xander is not going to need a lawyer for too very long. I expect when Sarah hears that he hired a lawyer, she's going to be annoyed. But once she softens her stance on Xander, I also imagine she's going to want to avoid a court battle and will allow him access to little Victoria. In fact, in a recent interview, actor Paul Telfer said that Xander and Sarah are in a place where they're not involved, they're not in love, but they are co-parenting their daughter together. Very interesting. So we have one more huge piece of Days of Our Lives news for you before we end. So subscribe if you haven't already, click a like if you haven't already, and definitely get ready to drop comments. So the credits at the end of the Monday, October 2nd episode confirmed indeed that Emily O'Brien is going to be the one playing Teresa Donovan. I mean, I was fairly sure it was happening, but the network hasn't confirmed it, so I wasn't going to say 100% it's her. But now I can tell you 100% it is her. I'm going to show you the screenshots from the Monday episode if you didn't notice it for yourself. Emily O'Brien had 2 different acting credits. They're not back to back. The first one was in the section where contract actors are noted, and that was her as Gwen von Leuschner. Then in the recurring and guest actor section, she appeared a second time as Teresa Donovan. So we may see Emily O'Brien as both characters this Friday. If not, we're going to see her as Gwen on Friday and then on Teresa as Monday. So we wish her a lot of luck with this recast. Drop your comments below on what you think about the actor swap, but more importantly, what you think about Eric losing it over Xander hiring Sloan as his lawyer to try and get custody of the baby away from Sarah Horton. Hey guys, thank you so much for listening. This has been Belinda from Soap Dirt.
Thank you for being a loyal listener. Follow us wherever you get your podcast, because you don't want to miss the next episode. Soap Dirt is on all the major podcast platforms, including Apple Podcast, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and more.